Andrew, thanks very much for inviting us here to your offices in London. For those who don't know Redevco, just tell us a little bit more about the company and the strategy.
Thanks, Richard. Great to have you here in our office. So Redevco is a privately owned pan-European investment manager. We manage a portfolio of around 300 assets across Europe with a value of around 7.5 billion euros.
You've been well known as a retail player moving towards that mixed use. Is that how you see the strategy evolving for Redevco?
Yes. And evolving is exactly how I'd describe it. It doesn't feel revolutionary to us at all. You know, we've been doing that for the last 3, 4, 5 years, I would say. Much more into operational real estate, much more food and beverage, much more mixed use, and urban environments has been what we've specialised in for the last 20 years. So it feels very natural for us to expand our scope, not just from retail, but retail into food and beverage, into leisure, and to residential, which we're doing. And we don't think it's a big step to start looking at offices, and also often part of a mixed-use building, and possibly even urban logistics.
And within that strategy, will that always be as part of mixed use, or are you particularly looking at, I guess, anything to do with urbanisation, given the increased urbanisation trends?
I think that's exactly the step we're making. So I think now we'll start to look at offices in their own right, if they're in the right cities, the right locations, and possibly one day could be repurposed.
I suppose that's then a move towards focusing on growth. Does that mean you're going to have to bring in more specialist teams to be able to deliver this?
We may, I guess is the answer. So we did in residential. So we did a scan of our expertise in the company, and we had some experience in residential, but we didn't feel that we had enough or the right level. We have done offices and even logistics historically in the past. In fact, that was one of the first things I did when I joined many years ago. So we have a lot of people that still understand offices and logistics. So it's possible, but may not be required.
And in terms of that growth, are you then looking to widen the pool of investors, look for more joint venture partners?
Absolutely. So current portfolio, as I said, is around 7.5 billion. Our plan is to get to 10 billion in the next 5 years. We already manage about 40% of our portfolio for external capital, and that will increase. So we will still co-invest with our own balance sheet money, but we will definitely bring in additional and look for additional capital to allow us and help us to grow.
And Redevco has been at the forefront of sustainability. How will you manage this kind of growth with also the sort of high targets that you've set yourselves for sustainability and particularly the sort of carbon neutral agenda?
It's a great question, because it's not just about what we do with the existing portfolio, it's also about the growth. So for example, our joint venture with PGGM, where we have one asset in Bordeaux and we expect to grow that portfolio to around 500 million euros. We have a commitment jointly with them that the whole portfolio will be net zero carbon by 2030. For the rest of our portfolio, we've said net zero carbon by 2040. We have 300 assets to work through, so we need a little bit more time. We sort of have a three-pronged approach, I guess. We have what we call our kind of incremental daily business of trying to improve BREEAM ratings on X number of assets every year, and we've been doing that for a number of years. The second thing is we have what we call our signature projects, where we have, for example, a retail park in Belgium where we use a cradle-to-cradle principle of construction, and we've committed to make that net zero carbon. So we have a number of what we call signature projects, and then we have our big ambitious goal, if you like, of net zero carbon by 2040. So we sort of have the small steps, incremental, year on year. We have the signature projects, and then we have our kind of big ambitious goal.
Very interesting space at the moment. So thanks for sharing your views, Andrew, and look forward to seeing how Redevco moves forward with the strategy.
Good. Thanks, Richard. Thanks very much. Good to see you.